Microstamping of guns. Are you familiar with it? We all need to be familiar with it. It's a total nightmare. From now on, if I'm wearing this red shirt, that means we are in code red on our gun laws and gun rights in the Second Amendment of the United States of America, and our rights are about to be infringed. Microstamping of guns, it's supposed to identify the firearm used at a crime scene. And I'm going to talk about it in this video. Everyone needs to know about this. This is huge. There's a lot of states right now that are getting ready to pass this law, and it's going to go federal, and it's going to create a whole entire mess for all of us. Microstamping is a way of embedding a specific mark at the end of a firing pin so that when it strikes the primer of the bullet casing, it leaves a micro stamp. It creates so many problems for all of us. Let's talk about it. Listen, everybody, please subscribe. There's 100 million gun owners in America, and there's such a small percentage of us who are fighting for our rights, us and the NRA. We need to pull together. Please tell a friend. Please get on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Let's spread the word about this channel and other good channels that are fighting for our gun rights. Welcome to weaponseducation.com. All right, this might be a new term to a lot of people, microstamping of guns, but it's very real. It's been around for about 5 years now, and it's really being pushed hard by the New York Times of all news outlets. It's horrific. It's supposed to identify the firearm used in a crime, but we all know that what it really is government takeover of all of our rights. Let's talk about it. What microstamping of guns is, it's a technique that uses a laser technology and stamps a numerical code on the shell casings, and it does just that, okay? Now, let's just think about that for a second. Every single shell casing in America, if this law is passed in America, is going to be traced by the government. That means they're also going to want to trace the guns because they want to also microstamp the firing pin on semi-automatics. We'll talk about revolvers in a minute. This thing doesn't work. None of it works. You know, opponents obviously are us and the NRA. They argue, the NRA specific is fighting for our rights. I'll always put a link to the NRA below. Through my link, you save $10, you get the free hat and all that stuff, but more importantly, they need the numbers to fight this type of stuff. The NRA, they argue that microstamping is ineffective and cost prohibitive. They say the proposed system would unfairly focus on legal gun owners when most crimes are committed with illegal guns. Let's think about this for a second. Okay. If this gets passed, hypothetically speaking, if this gets passed, now all guns have to go to the federal government, and the numbers here range from anywhere from $50 to $200 per gun for us to go to a federal licensed gunsmith and pay a fee to license our gun with a gun registry so they can put this specially micro-stamped firing pin in our gun. So just think of your collection. How many guns do you have? Times, let's say, $200 a gun. It's probably going to be more. So there's a tax included in this. Now, is it going to work to solve crimes? Are the criminals going to figure a way around this? Of course they are. Imagine this, and I'm just talking out loud now. Okay, imagine this. You're at the range. You're in line 7. You're having a good time, shooting your gun. You leave. Bad guy comes in after you, picks up your brass. Now he's got your stamped brass, and he goes to his bad guy friend and says, reload me some ammo here, because in my mind, I'm going to use this to go rob some grocery stores or convenience stores, and now, all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, you, Mr. Nice Guy, who was shooting on lane 7, you get the SWAT team knocking at your door, guns to your head, you're under arrest, you need an attorney, and what's this all about? You're saying, well, we found your brass at a crime scene at a convenience store. Like, you're thinking, what's this all about? This is the problem with microstamping fire pins, and which goes to the brass. It's a total nightmare, and it's another step towards a national gun registry. I have to bring this information out. We have to share it with each other. If you're in a state where you look at your local news, and everyone needs to look at your local gun laws, and you got politicians who are trying to push this through, and that's happening in New York right now in particular. I hate to say it. Bloomberg, you're another mess you're creating. And if you're in a state where you know of a politician, let me know. I'll do a video on it. I'll put them up against the wall so the whole world can know. The politicians have to stand up to the internet now. It's not like the old days. All right, first of all, the passage of microstamping legislation would require us not only to have a government-issued firing pin for each gun we own, but we would also be forced to list every gun we own with the federal government. So the bureaucrats can keep a list of each firing pin and each weapon. And like I said, the firing pins can be replaced. It's a system that doesn't work. And number 2, here's another reason why it doesn't work. Upon sending our weapons in or even taking them to a special government-certified gunsmith for a microstamp firing pin to be added, we all have to pay a fee. Let's talk about revolvers. Revolvers don't leave shell casings, do they? It doesn't work. The bottom line is, microstamping is just another way for anti-gun bureaucrats to reach into our closets, gun safes, and glove compartments to find our guns and register them, to tax us for owning them, and to ban those who don't fit their microstamping ideal. Like I said, bad guys can go pick up brass at the range. Stamp casings can be traced to the last registered owner. So if you sell your gun, it's a nightmare. This whole thing is a nightmare. It's going to create tax after tax after tax. Just think about it. If you want to sell a gun, oh, well, now we have to go to the government and pay a fee to make sure that firing pin is compliant with this new federal law. And by the way, microstamping is easily defeated. They have diamond-coated files, the bad guys, that can just mess everything up, and it's not going to put the stamping on there correctly. Oh, and by the way, in California, sorry guys, Leos in your state, they don't have to comply with this law if it gets passed. Let me know what your opinion is on this. I know I went fast and furious on this purposely. I wanted to throw out a lot of information at you. But we need to know about microstamping of guns. And I'm going to have Officer Dave sitting next to me within the next week, a cop telling us his perspective on this, and also the Empire State Building shooting, in which we know how the cops handled that situation. Please tell a friend, please subscribe. We need to put a stop to these politicians, and the internet is our best entity to do it, along with the NRA. The link is below. Please join, save $10. Go through my link, PM me, and I'll give you a call to thank you personally. Thank you so much. Check it out.